Another bacon has been murdered inside of prison, but this time it's in Australia. Someone contacted us who is a subscriber of my channel from in Australia and said, would you mind doing a video on this beast who has been murdered? So I'm going to go through a couple of articles that have been sent on the individual, or should I say the bacon in question, is Shannon Norgate. And he is an ex-offender and he's died in an assault in Queensland. So the convicted ex-offender has died in hospital after an altercation involving two fellow inmates at a Queensland correctional facility. Another one-off, and it seems like these copycat killings in the high security estates, even though this one is just a secure facility, it seems as though even in these facilities the copycat killings are happening. But again, in prison, these type of inmates are at high priority for target, as you can quite imagine. When they're out on the streets harming little ones, then they end up in prison in amongst some bigger fish, then they become the prey. The predators in prison look down on these type of individuals and act out prison justice, which has happened to this 28-year-old bacon. Now, in another article, which I'm going to read out now, the residents of Brisbane will be happy to know about this because they were very concerned when this convicted offender was living opposite a suburban Brisbane primary school. So residents living on Brisbane's south side have expressed anger and concern after discovering a convicted ex-offender is living in their neighbourhood opposite a primary school. And that is exactly what's happening in the UK. These horrible individuals get housed right near parks and schools. What fucking logic is going on with these people that are in charge of individuals like this when they're housing them near schools and parks and putting the little ones at risk? Because these predators do not change their preference no matter how many times they get put in jail. The only way you can stop it is by what's happened here inside of that prison. So Shannon Norgate was convicted of assaulting two young boys in a school bathroom in Gladstone in 2019, luring them while disguised as a police officer. The 28-year-old pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 3 years probation and 3 years good behaviour. The fucking Australian system is as fucked up as the UK. How can you give someone 3 years probation who has done that to two young boys whilst pretending to be a copper? It's absolutely ludicrous. So in this article it goes on and says 9 News had tracked him down living in a boarding house opposite the Yeronga State Primary School, some 30 metres away from the playground. 30 metres away from a playground. Somebody who has disguised himself as a police officer and done that to two young boys in a school bathroom and the house them near a school. Just as well the inmates took good care of this foul individual. This is the only address I could come to, when asked what he was doing living in such proximity to children, Norgate said there was nowhere else in Brisbane he could live. This is the only address I could come to. This is the only place that had a vacancy, so that's not my problem. Norgate was asked whether his probation conditions restricted him from living near a school. Guess what? He said no, but said Corrective Services had recently directed him to relocate, only because the residents had kicked up a fuss. If the residents hadn't have known who he is, no one knows what could have went on right next to that primary school. They've pretty much said that it's not just for my safety, but for other people's safety, because I'm pretty much known as a very violent and dangerous person, and that's coming from him. Do you think you're okay living across the road from a school, even though you've just told me you're a dangerous and violent person? I'm pretty well controlled on medications at the moment, so I'm actually pretty high right now, he said. Wow, how fucking ludicrous and fucked up is that? What if he took too much of his medication? He's already saying he's pretty high. And there's a picture of him here, actually, I'm going to show you it. He looks out of his nut. What happens, like I've just said, he loses all control because the medication that they've prescribed him is getting him off his nut. He looks monged out of his tits. So what would have happened if a youngster came walking past the house and he decided, because he's that smashed, to drag one inside? He goes on to say, I've found somewhere to... During the interview with 9 News, Norgate received a call, that was the call he's onto there, from a member of Corrective Services. Now, if a violent individual was on the phone like that to the probation, you got off with a suspended sentence and you're on the phone off your nut, it's a recall. That's what happens in the UK. Them probation officers, they might not do it to the bacons because they like to look after them and mollycoddle them. But somebody like myself or someone who is a straight goer, not like that type of individual, if you then get on the phone monged like that, they'll say, recall, you're a danger, but not the likes of him. He goes on to say, I'm just going to go there pretty much. I just need a place right now anywhere. I don't really like this area anywhere. Why? Because the residents don't like you. Or didn't, rather, because past tense he is no more. I'm just getting to the point that I want to drop a nuclear bomb on top of it. Wow. Opposition leader Deb Franklington said when she was informed of Norgate's place of residence, she was appalled. This is disgusting, it's horrifying, and I've just got shivers down my spine to think that this type of person is living within range of my children. Corrective Services Minister Mark Ryan would not comment on this specific case, but said in general, ex-offenders should not be near schools, obviously, for obvious reasons. Doesn't take a genius to fucking work that out. But it goes on to say that 9 News understands that Norgate remained in the boarding house overnight and plans are in place to move him to another location today. That was when that article came out. But obviously, since then, he's landed back in prison. And he's maybe bumped into some Brisbane residents who has either kids or family friends that live in that neighbourhood and have thought, right, there's only one way we're going to settle this. When he gets back out, he's going to harm more children. We'll dispose of him. And that is exactly what those 2 inmates have done. So bravo to them inmates. So it says, Norgate, aged 28, was discovered unresponsive at Maryborough Correctional Centre on November the 26th and later taken to Hervey Bay Hospital, where he passed away on December the 1st. So he obviously suffered for nearly a week, or from the 26th till the 1st, some 5 days before he passed away. Queensland Police and Corrective Services confirmed the details in a joint statement. They go on to say the Queensland Police Service is investigating the death of a prisoner from Maryborough Correctional Centre. The prisoner died at Hervey Bay Hospital on December the 1st following an alleged incident in custody with 2 other prisoners. Now, I can't find any more information on who these other 2 prisoners are, but there will be more coming out in due course, so I will keep you updated. Information indicates around 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Ironically, that was around about the same time and same day, 9 a.m. It was about just after 8 a.m. on a Wednesday when Ian Watkins was found unresponsive inside of his cell. It was on November the 26th. A 28-year-old person was located unresponsive following a suspected altercation. There is no suspected. It's obviously an altercation with 2 other prisoners, where he has then been murdered. No staff were harmed during the event. I like that bit, what they've just put in. No staff were harmed in the eradication of this bacon. Norgate received a conviction in March 2020 on 5 Kid S charges, among them the 2019 assault on 2 boys in a Gladstone school bathroom while posing as a security guard. So, on the 2019 one, when he got that shitty little sentence, he then went on to do more in 2020, a measly year afterwards. 5 offences, 5 charges. He was wearing a shirt that had security written on it and led a 4-year-old boy by the hand and essayed him with a 5-year-old witnessing the act. How fucking sick is that? Gladstone District Court imposed a 4-year term, suspended after he served 40 months behind bars. Wow. Just fucking wow. In 2023, authorities caught him grooming a 12-year-old, leading to a 2-year sentence, despite the judge labelling him a true predator. Queensland Police Service continues probing his death. So, again, in 2023, another youngster, and then a 2-year sentence. What the fuck did he have to do before they give him a meaningful sentence? I mean, them charges that I've just spoken about there are absolutely horrendous. The first one was a suspended sentence. The second year was a 4-year jail term. He served 14 months. Then he went on to do it again and then given a 2-year sentence. How can you get a 4-year, then do it again and get a 2-year? The sentences should increase year on year. But the inmates have dished out the true sentence, and in my own honest opinion, I think that sentence was just deserved, because obviously the Queensland or the Gladstone District Court aren't imposing proper sentences, and no wonder the inmates are taking justice into their own hands, because those sentences are absolutely ridiculous. But he has met his maker inside a prison, and he's now leaving, well, he went to hospital, but he is leaving the hospital in a body bag, and he is no more. So the kids of Brisbane and the surrounding areas are safe. And then the parents can sleep at night knowing that he is not housed next to their kids in a house next to a primary school. But I'm going to leave that one there for now, people. A little bit of good news for you for today, going into the weekend. So, as usual, if you're enjoying the content, which I'm sure you are, because you love to hear this type of content about these predators meeting their makers inside of prison, because I am, and I do take a little bit of joy reading it out, knowing that no more children will be harmed. So if you are enjoying the content, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend or week ahead whenever you're watching this video. Take care, but most importantly, stay safe.